So most of the time what I carry around is this knife here. This is a Benchmade mini crooked river. And even though it says mini, it's a pretty big knife. As you can see here, as I compare it against the Sharpie marker here. So whenever I go out hiking or doing outdoor stuff, camping, stuff like that, this is what I'll carry with me. And I generally tend to carry it with me around the house too, whenever I'm just doing hardware kind of related work, that kind of stuff. The problem with it is that it is kind of big. Even though they say it's a mini, it's still kind of a big, scary knife, and it tends to intimidate people a little bit. So when I go out in public, I carry this, which is a Spyderco Delica that my brother gave me a few years ago. You can see it's a little bit smaller. It tends to still be a little bit intimidating. I have one more knife. This is one of my favorites. It's a Spyderco Copa. It's a very fancy knife. It's much smaller, as you see here. It's also super expensive, and I really only carry this when I'm doing like a night out on the town, and this is what they call a gentleman's knife. This is a camel bone model. What I wanted though, and I decided to get a new knife, was I wanted something sort of for this spot here. Something wasn't so large that it was intimidating, and something that, you know, people might see me in public with, and also wasn't so expensive that I'd be afraid of losing it. Because I need to actually be in public at my art booth, and I want, if I bring out my knife to cut something, open a box or something like that, I don't want to freak people out. So I wanted something, like I said, a little bit smaller, and I decided to give something new a try, which is a fixed blade knife. So I ordered a new knife, and I'm going to open it here and have a look at it. So we're going to open this here. I'm going to use my Spyderco Copa to open another knife. So what I have here is a knife from Vosteed, and what this is a fixed blade known as the Marmoset. So let's open this up and have a look. Some shrink wrapping to get out of the way. And what do we have here? So we have a some sort of sticker. Maybe I'll give this to one of my kids or something like that. We have, it looks like a cleaning cloth. So I guess this is something you would attach to the knife here, down here. This is a piece of paracord. And I have lots and lots of paracord. I'll probably find something a little better for this, but maybe I'll wind up using this. We'll see. I'm probably going to wind up decorating this knife a little bit. And here is the knife itself. It is kind of stuck in here a little bit. So we have a sheath for it here. This is something called Kydex, apparently. I'm not super familiar with fixed blades. We have a belt clip here. And I'm probably going to be removing this belt clip because I'm going to turn this into a neck knife, I think. So here we have the actual blade itself. Nice little blade, nice and short. It's got what's called a cleaver shape to it. So it's got a little bit of weight to it. Doesn't feel too bad. It's a little on the good 3-finger carry. So once I put the paracord on here, that'll give me something I can hold on to it with. Again, I don't think I'll use this paracord, but maybe I will. I'll see. Feels nice and sharp. So let me grab a piece of paper, see how well it cuts through that. So I got a bit of paper here, torn from a notebook. Let's see how well this cuts through that. Oh yeah, it slices through it like butter. So this is nice. Let's have a quick look at this up close. We got the blade here. It's covered in this sort of dark coating. And this is, I guess, what they call jimping, to put your thumb up against. It feels really nice. So, and again, I'm going to be using this mostly in my art booth to cut more paracord, because there's a lot of paracord involved in setting up my art booth, it turns out. Opening boxes, that kind of stuff. It's not going to be like, you know, a deep woods adventure kind of knife. It holds really well. Got the hole here for the paracord. We have the instructions that came with it. Looks like it's a 30-day warranty, which I don't think would be a big problem for a solid knife like this. Couple of warnings, instructions, and stuff like how to maintain, oil it if you're going to store it. That same thing in various different languages. Safety guidelines, of course. Imagine safety guidelines are pretty similar to any knife you might own. We'll have a quick look at the size of this knife. Let's see, we have, looks like just over 5 inches long. So if I can compare it to the others, let's have a look here. We have our mini Crooked River. It is way smaller than that. This Spyderco Delica, also considerably smaller. And then the Spyderco Copa, which is my gentleman's blade, tends to be actually even a little smaller than that. So this is excellent. So this will be something that will be definitely not intimidating like the larger blades here. Let's line them all up. So we're gonna kind of arrange it in size order here. The Delica, and give ourselves some room. The Benchmade. So yeah, so even though it is a fixed blade, it is smaller than all of these folders. So going back to the knife itself, it comes with this sheath, which is a kind of plastic known as Kydex, and it's got this clip that comes with it. It's really kind of a large clip. I think I'll be removing it. I can see here it's kind of got this sort of offset shape to it. So it looks like all I really have to do is remove this screw here and this one here. And we'll be attaching maybe some paracord up here to make this into a neck knife. So it snaps in pretty well. Doesn't come out, doesn't seem loose. It looks like you have this place to put your thumb against to pull it out. So, excellent. So this is called a marmoset, and a marmoset is a kind of small monkey from South America, I think. And I'll be looking that up a little bit, just to kind of get an idea of why they named it what they did. And then perhaps being that it is modeled after or it's named after a small mammal, which is something I'm a bit of, I wouldn't say an expert, but it's one of my common themes in my art is to do small mammals. Maybe I'll put together an artwork featuring a marmoset. Don't think I'll go as far as having him holding one of these, but it should be fun. All right, so for test number 1, I have a frame here of one of my more recent artworks, and I'm going to be putting some backing paper on this, just a roll of this brown paper, and we'll see how well the knife cuts through that. Seems to have done pretty well. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this into a neck knife. And the first thing I'm going to do is remove this clip. I've been carrying this around for a few days, and I did learn that you can sort of convert this clip to various directions and such. But it's still a little bit bulky when I put it in my pocket. The handle still sticks out of my pocket. It doesn't carry very low. And again, I want this to kind of be on display when I'm wearing it, because my art booth is themed in wildlife adventure, so I want to look adventurous. I'll have a neck knife on with a paracord tether coming down, and maybe some feathers on that, some beads. We'll see. But first things first, I'm going to be removing the clip here. It looks like all I need is just your basic Phillips head screwdriver. So we'll give it a shot. using my finger to prevent the other side of the screw from turning. And losing that on the ground. Oh, here it is. I do want to keep that just in case I ever want to reattach this. Remove the second one. And there's that one there. So there's also a little washer here. Looks like a couple little washers come with it. So some screws, some bolts, some washers, and I am going to keep them in the box that I'll store on a bookshelf or in a drawer somewhere, along with a little clip. So now we got just the sheath itself. I think we'll attach a lanyard first, and then I'll do the necklace part. So this did come with paracord to use as a lanyard, but since I'm going to have another one going around my neck, I want something that matches. I've got a whole mess of paracord here. Got some beads that I'm going to see if I can put those on there too. All right, so I have here about a yard of paracord that I cut with this knife here. It gave me a pretty nice edge when I cut it. And I'm going to be tying a snake knot. And to do that, first you run the paracord through the hole in the, or through the, I guess it's a lanyard anchor in the handle. And I'm going to have them pulled out to about the same length. And then what I am going to do is with the side that's coming out the top here, I'm going to pick that as sort of the side that I start with. And I'm just going to consistently do the same knot again and again from the same side. I am going to go under, and in this case I'm taking the right, I guess what I call the right hand side, going under and coming across so that the paracord lines up with the last loop. It's going to look easier in a minute. And then I'm going to take the other side and do a tight loop around those two. And then come through and then tighten it all up. So one of the secrets to doing this is to tighten each knot as best as you can. So again, I've got my right side again. I'm going to go under and over both of them now, and lining it up with the previous knot as best I can. Take the left hand side, go under and through, and sort of tighten the whole thing and make sure everything kind of lines up. There, I've got two. You know you're doing it right when you start to see these parallel loops. So under, over, line that up, and then around and through with the left hand side again, and tighten that up. And you should start to see a pattern emerge here. We've got this sort of the same, sort of getting that sort of rhythm going. So under, over. What I'm looking to do is about 5 of these. You don't want too many. I'm gonna be careful not to catch myself in that left loop there. Tighten that again. And yeah, I think one more is gonna be just about perfect. And there we go. A snake knot lanyard. So I'm going to keep these two ends loose for a little bit because I am going to run a couple of beads up on these. To do that, I am going to cut, and I've already done it once here as practice, but I'm going to cut the paracord at an angle. So left-handed person with right-handed scissors. We'll see how well this works. Do it this way. Not very well. Let's try that again. There we go. That gave me kind of a nice little point on that. I can just slide the bead up on that. And these are just two little plastic beads that I'm going to have at the end. And we'll do that on the other side. Fix that point a little bit and get that through the bead. All right, now what I'm going to do is shorten this considerably, cutting off right about here. Same with this here. Now, because paracord is plastic, I am going to melt the ends of this, but at the same time, I'm going to get a couple of feathers ready. These are feathers I found while walking outside. I'm pretty sure we have mourning dove. Got a lot of mourning doves in my yard. Don't know. This one might also be another part of the mourning dove, possibly a crow feather. I don't know. But that's what I found, what I'm going to use. So get this stuff out of the way and try not to set my house on fire. Now, since these are plastic beads, I'm going to move them away from the ends because I don't want them to burn. I have a lighter here set at its lowest setting. There we go. And I am going to melt the end of that paracord. And actually, it works pretty well if I catch it on fire. What I'm going to do is get the feather ready too. Blow it out and stick the feather in while it is still melted. Let's see if I can get that in there. There it goes. And the melted paracord, first of all, it's going to stop the bead because it's going to widen wider than the bead. But second of all, it's going to fuse the feather in there. So now I'll do the other side. Let that catch on fire for a minute. Blow it out and get that feather in there while it's still melted. And there we go. So that, I'll give that a second to kind of chill out and try not to burn my fingers. Gives me a nice sort of decorative, it's kind of hard to see with this, sort of lanyard. A couple of feathers on it. Don't burn yourself, Daniel. I think it's cooled off now. And that will hang from my neck. And then I am going to take some more paracord, find the end of it here. What I'm going to want is about 2 yards. So 1, 2. And then we'll cut that. And test our knife out as we're for cutting. And it cuts perfectly. What I'm going to do here is run it through the Kydex sheath. There. And there. So that's how it's going to hang from my neck. All right, first I'm going to melt the ends so they don't come unraveled. Probably set off the smoke detector in my house. And we'll give that a second to cool. All right, so now that these have cooled, I'm going to kind of line them up opposites and pull like this. What I'm going to be doing is called a double uni knot. So I'm going to take one of the sides, fold it over, kind of come around. I sort of make this sort of a D shape here. Try to give myself some stuff to work with. And then I'm going to go under and through that loop. And then I'm going to keep a tight coil and just kind of keep coiling it. What this is going to do is create a pair of slip knots. And once I begin to run out here, I'm going to pull that, if you can see it, I'm going to try to pull this tight, find the right one to pull. And when done, I get this kind of shape here where you see you have the 3 little coils, and this slides pretty easily through here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with the short end here. Fold around and make that kind of D shape. Oh, D shape. And then coil it around, around, more. And then pull that tight. Find the right one to pull. Not that one, this one. What that does is it gives me 2 slip knots that I can use to tighten or loosen this necklace here and fit it around my head. And so with that, I have my completed neck knife. Pull it out here. I have my tether that I can hold on to if I need to, although I think mostly I'll be holding on to this knife like this, cutting things, but still it looks good. And like I said, I'll be able to wear this in public, at least at my art booth when I'm selling art. Got that look with the nice feathers and everything like that. And finally, I decided to go ahead and create an artwork featuring an actual marmoset. This is a common marmoset, an interesting little creature, and it was inspired by an interesting little knife. So thanks everyone, and good night.